Hello, so today we'll be talking about a small town in Tamil Nadu, India, which is known as Ranipet, India. So this town is known for having many small and medium-scale tanneries that process leather. In total, there are about 240 of these tanneries in town, and there are also industries that include ceramic, refractory, and chromium chemicals. We'll also talk about India really quick. India has a population of 1.4 billion. So that's roughly 3 times the size of the United States population, which is 331.9 million people. So if we look here, we actually have a map of India. And if you look up in the corner, this is Tamil Nadu. You will see Ranipet, which I highlighted with a little red box. Also, in addition, it's very important to know that Ranipet is known for its richness of mineral deposits found in the ground, as well as heavy metals, which we will be discussing for the remainder of this presentation. So we're going to be talking about the importance of factors for our purpose that are influencing the health of those living in Ranipet. And in this case, we'll be talking about how Ranipet is notoriously known for its groundwater contamination and high chromium exposure. As for our objective, we'll discuss and investigate how leather industries have brought forth major contamination of these heavy metals that have caused and are contributing to human health decline. So the first thing we'll be talking about today is our population data of Ranipet and India. Then we'll be talking about our causes of death in Tamil Nadu in India, as well as our heavy metals and groundwater contamination, following the effects of heavy metals on the human body, and lastly, the spatial variation around the leather industries in Ranipet. This is our population data, and we're looking at graph 1 and graph 2. So for our population growth in India, we have a pretty steady increase. So right now we're at around 1.4 billion. But as for our graph 2, we actually can see that in Ranipet, India, there is an even steadier growth of our population. Now with this population increase, there come a variety of environmental issues. In areas where population density is high, so in India, human land use is very intensive, and because of this, groundwater is especially vulnerable. There are many different causes. So some of them include urban activities, agriculture, groundwater pumping, and disposal of waste that all affect our groundwater quality. Here we'll be talking about our causes of death in India and Tamil Nadu. So figure 3 on the left side is our causes of death in India from 2017 through 2019. And here what we see as our first cause is other. So other follows cancers, abnormal causes, many things that involve environmental aspects. And then we have number 2 as our cardiovascular diseases. And then number 3 is the remaining causes. So falls, accidents, trips. And the same follows with Tamil Nadu in that we have cardiovascular disease and other as our top 2. And so other follows the cancer that we're seeing in the population. And if you look at it, it's pretty close to the cardiovascular disease. But for our case, we are looking specifically at the cancer. So cancer and cardiovascular disease are at the top 2. Here we have a study that was conducted by Vyaka Kumar et al. In the industrial area of Ranipet to determine the groundwater quality and heavy metals contamination. So in graph 5, you'll see that hexavalent chromium is very, very, very high compared to the World Health Organization's suggested amount. Now, this is a major, major problem, and that's because chromium is a metal that's found in Earth's crust, but because of the industrialization in Ranipet, it's causing an increase in this groundwater contamination, and it's a major environmental concern. It is completely exceeding the permissible limit And that just tells us that there's something much bigger happening here. So the issue of groundwater contamination on human health. Srinivasa Gold and Govil P. in 2008 found that the pollution of heavy metals in the area originated mainly from the industries in the area, either by dumping of the industrial waste or from release of uncontrolled sewer onto the ground, which contaminated the water present in the area for the study. So here we have our heavy metals, our concentration found in Ranipet, and also our MCL, which is suggested by the World Health Organization. So in this case, chromium, cadmium, copper, nickel, lead, and zinc all go way over the maximum contaminant level. And this just shows us how detrimental these exposures are to our population. The Human Health Risk Assessment shows that adults are likely to suffer from the cancer-causing effects due to the higher content of chromium, but also due to the other heavy metals. So because of this exposure to such heavy metals for a long duration of time, there's a chance of a higher carcinogenic risk in the adult population. This is our last graph that we're looking at, and it's following the spatial variation. This pretty much just sums up everything that we have been talking about in terms of the impact of the heavy metal contamination, groundwater contamination, because here we have our factories. So we have about 4 in this population in an area of Ranipet, but outside of just these leather industries, there's a larger impact because it's extending outwards into different areas outside of just those leather industries. And this is impacting our water bodies and rivers. So for our discussion, it's important to talk about how the leather industry is causing a major shift in human health due to the way the companies are dealing with and exposing their industrial waste. As a result of this improper disposal, groundwater contamination and presence of heavy metals remain a detrimental concern. Cancer has a very high prevalence, and heavy metals are well over the MCL. So potential solutions involve holding these industries accountable with laws and regulations in place that fine them for improper waste disposal practices, providing residents with reverse osmosis filters, and educating individuals about water. Just because it's clear doesn't mean it's clean. So thank you for watching. These are all important things to consider, especially with our human health.